Okay, guys, we're back on. Any questions about that?
No.
Excellent. Moving right along.
Let's see some of the choices that Eclipse Automagic offers when you have block marked text. As soon as I mark text, Automagic offers me an easy way to mark more text, or to mark more prior text. Since I want to mark not just surgery but arthroscopic surgery, I could use choice 5 to mark more prior text. Now if I press 1, Automagic will copy this text to the clipboard, and the speed key for this function in the future will be Control-C. And if I press 2, Automagic will ask for a Google search on the phrase arthroscopic surgery.
So this thing is actually pretty cool. Like if you're hooked up to the internet, wherever you are, and you're just like, is it arthroscopic surgery, orthoscopic surgery, urthroscopic surgery? I don't know what it is. A lot of times if you look over here and you highlight a word, a lot of times it's going to ask you, you want to Google it? Hit that Google and it sends you right here to the Google search. You don't have to minimize, go into Google, type the thing in, hit enter, find it, hit enter again. All you do is that. It's pretty cool.
No need to copy and paste or retype the text just to use Google. If I press 3 or I use the speed key Control-, Automagic will open the text attributes dialog. Perhaps I want to put this text in italics. And if I press 4, Automagic would offer to surround this phrase with punctuation. So for instance, surround with quotes, dashes, parentheses, put a hyphen between the two words, or surround with commas. Automagic is dynamic, so the choices will depend on what you have marked. And actually, this is an instance where using Automagic actually adds a step, or surrounding with punctuation. But the goal here is for Automagic to act as a teacher, so that a new user can learn that once text has been marked, pressing the quotes key would surround that text with quotation marks, or pressing the parenthesis key would surround the text with parentheses. Again, the goal is to teach new users to be as efficient as possible and to remind experienced users of features that they may have forgotten or never really discovered in the first place.
So would that at any point ever take over like the spell check portion of it? Or would it translate, say for example, when you keep the orthopedic surgery thingy in a certain way, format, would it keep it so for future references and other jobs? Or stuff?
I don't know if I'm following.
Then never mind.
No, ask me.
Would it keep it in your or your spell check?
Yeah,
the way,
if it's
whatever
correct.
you set it up.
Yeah, if it's correct.
Does it?
So like if it's spelled wrong, there's gonna be a red line under here, or it may be spelled correctly, but it's just not in your dictionary, and it doesn't know it. So you can look it up in the Google thing. You know what? It's correct. Oh, okay. Well, then I know that it's correct, and you can add it to your dictionary.
And it'll save it for future spell checks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. So when you're doing your spell check, it's going to come down here, and because it's in red, and it may be spelled correctly, you know, it may be Krzyzewski. You know, well, Krzyzewski's not going to be in your dictionary, probably. You know, but you know what? I know it's spelled correctly, you know, because I'm taking the deposition of Mr. Krzyzewski. So, I mean, it has it right there in the paperwork. So I know it's correct. You know, maybe it's an attorney that it's a new attorney and you're going to be doing depositions with him all the time. It's one of y'all's clients. You're going to want that in your dictionary? Absolutely. Absolutely, you're going to want it in there. As a correct spelling. Now, if you do Krzyzewski and you do a chef, I don't know that I'd put that in your main dictionary. Maybe, you know, if you're going to be taking a lot of depositions with him, but, you know, say you have Mr. Sheffenbosky, you know, and you do chef, now it's going to come up Krzyzewski. Are you following me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Let's see how to copy and paste and perform other block functions within Eclipse. Cut, copy, and paste are basic features of the Windows operating system. Naturally, you can mark all or part of an Eclipse text document and copy it onto the Windows clipboard. Then paste from the clipboard into either another Eclipse text document or even another Windows program such as Microsoft Word or an email program. Eclipse uses the standard speed keys for these basic functions. You can also access them through icons on the toolbar. Of course, you'll see these same choices on the block menu. But if you're a mouse lover, you could click and drag to select text, and then right-click to select these same functions from a context menu. You have to mark text.
It's actually pretty cool because like in the old court that I was in, you know, and say, you know, somebody called me and they said, hey Dave, we need a transcript from 9/11/18. Okay. Well, I go in there where there's 15 cases that we did, but they just need that one. Well, I don't have to necessarily mark it, put it in another text file or whatever. I'm going to keep it in there because the WAV file is already in that thing. So I can go through it and say it started on page 84 and it went to page 168. Okay, no big deal. So I just go through. With your WAV file, you just put your cursor right there, push play, and it just starts playing right there. You don't have to do anything else. So once you get to the bottom, it's like, okay, we finished that hearing. Well, now I need to print it and send it to those people. Well, it's not going to start on page 86. And I'm not going to send them a copy of a thing on page 86 where, you know, I have to put in my title pages and all of that stuff, and my first title page is on page 86. So this is where this comes in handy. So I put it on the beginning. How I end a file is I do end. Did I tell y'all know that? So I end. So I just go to the beginning of that, get onto the first word, push mark, push shift arrow all the way down or page down, all the way down, and I know that it ended at 168 or whatever. Go down to 168, push Control C, which copies it, get out of that file, go into my transcript file, and then I just create a new file. And I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm kind of getting way ahead, but I'm kind of explaining why this is going to come in handy. So I create the new file, it goes to a blank page or whatever, I do the Control V, puts the whole thing in there. Now I'm on page 1, where I need to be. I put my title pages in there, we're all good to go. Now I'm not on page 86 anymore. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So that's where the paste and copy comes in handy. Okay, and I'm going to show you how to do it. It's actually pretty cool.
Before it's ready to go onto the Windows clipboard. And if you're trying to capture not just the text of a paragraph, but also its formatting information, one way to do this is to place your cursor at the beginning of a paragraph and press the home key twice so that you capture the paragraph type. Then begin marking. Once you begin marking,
sometimes when you mark this stuff, and say you come right here on the C, and you just mark it right there, you see right here, this kind of tells you what kind of a paragraph it is. Well, the C indicates that it's a centered paragraph, okay? You can have a fixed line, you can have a parenthetical, you can have a centered, all of these things. So by coming in here, when you copy it, tells it, I want to keep it as a centered. So whenever I paste it, the centered is coming with me. If you don't, then this one's not going to be centered anymore. The rest of them might be centered because from here down, it's going to copy from here down, so it's going to capture these things. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
So that way you don't have to do the reformatting twice, right?
Yeah. So you don't have to come in here. But let's just say you did. And it's like, oh my God, what? Click this little thing right here. It's going to open a box and it's going to ask you, what do you want to do? Go down to centered, it centers it. Not that big of a deal. Or you do Alt-C. Alt-C will center also. And that'll come later.
anything that moves your cursor will increase or decrease the amount of marked text. As in other Windows programs, you can also just hold down the Shift key while you move. Copy and write leave the text in your original file, whereas cut and separate actually delete the text from your original file. So what's the difference in these two sets of functions? Copy and cut simply place text on the clipboard, but write and separate actually create a new file. So if you use write or separate, you'll have to give your new file a name and let Eclipse create it for you. Paste.
Be careful with that. Be careful with that. Okay? Because when you write and separate, it takes it out. So like if you accidentally mess it up, it's gone. Okay? Now it might be somewhere in La La Land, I don't know how you get it back, but it's just so much easier that if you're going to move it from one thing to another, it's so much better just to cut and paste it, create a new file. The creating a new file lets you name the file too. So I really don't know where that really comes in handy. I really don't. Because the other way, it just copies it. It keeps it in the file, but it just copies it. Okay? But once you write or separate it, that's it. You're moving that document. You're moving that whole thing. If you accidentally do something, yeah, call support. Don't call me because I don't know. I don't know about getting that back. So cut and paste is the best way to do it.
And read, insert text into the file in which your cursor is located. Paste inserts the text from the clipboard, whereas read inserts text from a file. So if you select read, you'll have to indicate the file whose contents you want to insert.
Got it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh? I'm sorry?
Is there anywhere we can view what's on the clipboard? In other words, if we copy, just say, a portion of our document, we hit Control C. We copy it. Is there any way we can look at the clipboard to see if it's been copied or, like on Microsoft, we can see the clipboard?
I don't know. 'Cause there's not a
A
clipboard
view
up
clipboard?
here.
I don't know.
See, I don't see a clipboard up here. It may not.
Best way is just to see if it pastes. That's probably how I do it.
Yeah. And then if you just forgot several lines, just go back, copy whatever you forgot, put it back in there. That'd probably be the easiest way. Yeah.
Let's see how to split files or merge files. In this example, I'd like to split out the testimony that occurred after lunch. I'll place my cursor where I want the new file to begin and start marking. Then I'll press Control Page Down to go to the end of the file and either click on the separate icon or go to the lock menu or use speed key Shift Control X. When I name and open the file, I will of course be deleting text from one document and transferring it into another.
So like what they're telling you there was just what I told you. Say you need to move the afternoon file into something else. I'd copy it. I don't know about all of this, separating. So once you separate it, it's gone. It's gone from that file. Okay? So be careful with that. Yeah.
Could this be what we were discussing Tuesday about how Ms. Gunther was saying you could merge them or something like that in Eclipse as far as like when we're submitting our test for Wednesday and we have to submit in one doc?
Yeah, but that's different because it's different jobs. So what you have to do is go into the file manager, which is Control F. You go into the file manager and then you copy, you click on them, click on your notes, and then it's going to say copy to, and if you want to copy it to a hard drive, you can. You can copy it to, I think you can copy it to an email too. I think it gives you that option of copying to an email too. So it's going to be done through your file manager. It's not through this.
Okay.
Okay?
It's now a separate transcript as I wanted. Now just the opposite example. I want to merge the morning and afternoon sessions. So I'll place my cursor at the end of the morning file and use the read command to read one file into another. Of course, it's also on the block menu, and the speed key is Alt-R. The only thing tricky here is that if you're using a block files folder, which is a good idea, you'll need to look in your jobs folder to find the transcript that you want to merge.
See, like to me, it's easier to go in there and copy it and paste it. This, when you do the Alt-R, automatically takes you into the block files. But you don't have block files yet, but you're going to, because I'm going to give them to you. Okay? Now these block files are, you know, like stuff like breaking for lunch, bench conference. So all of these things right here: adjourn, add an attorney, take a break, confer, stuff like that. So these are things that you're going to be able to do like on your machine. You know what? At this time we're going to break for lunch. So I do the lun. Remember? Y'all remember I told you that? And it automatically puts in this parenthetical whereupon a lunch recess was had. So it just tells the reader what it is. Those are called block files. So when you do the Alt-R, that's what it opens. So that I don't like this as much as the cut and paste. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Less chance for error.
Yeah.
Less chance for error. And you don't have to do all of this stuff. Alt-R, go into this thing, bring it down, try to find the files where you need the file. Really? Yeah, not all of that.
You'll need to look in your jobs folder to find the transcript that you want to merge. Now my morning and afternoon testimony are in a single file.
Got it?
Mm-hmm.
So you can actually go through and do it. So let's do, I'm gonna do something real simple, okay? So say you need this question and you need it moved further down, okay? I'm gonna show you 2 ways of doing it, okay? Pay attention. So how do you mark? M, and then you can just arrow down and then arrow over to where you get to where you need to be. Pay attention, okay? Eyes up here, guys, real quick. Pay attention. Look what I marked. Pay attention to what I marked. You see that? All right? So now I'm gonna do Control C for copy, okay? Well, now I need it right here. Okay, so I need it after this answer. Okay? So I'm going to do Control V, which places it, and look what it did. You see what it did?
Mm-hmm.
Why did it do that?
Because it didn't copy the format.
It didn't copy the question.
Right.
Did y'all see that?
Yeah.
I didn't have that question mark copied. And that's why it did it. So it only put it in that format. Okay? So now I'm going to come up here, I'm going to mark it again, push delete, it deletes it. So now I'm going to come up here, man, I did it wrong. Okay, well I got it now. So I'll come right here, push M. Now you see how I have it marked? I have the Q in there now. Got it. Control C. Come back down. Right here, Control V. You see how I put it in there? Now I put it in there. It added the extra line, no big deal. How do you yank it out?
Z.
How do you yank that line?
Oh, yank it?
How do you yank that line?
Like yank.
Huh?
You mark it?
Control Y. I thought I told you that.
Oh, no, I don't remember that.
Control Y yanks a line out. You're going to want to write that one down. And some of you guys have asked me, because we've had it on the tests, on Q&A tests. Oh, how do I take that line out? You want to yank it out. Control Y, yank it. So it yanks that line out. And that's all you do. Okay?
Do you have to mark the whole question or whatever to yank it, or just have it in there? Do you know what
No, I mean, like, pay attention. Good question. So you're right here, and let's say I need to remove this whole thing right here. I need to remove all of that. Guys, pay attention. You're going to ask me again. I need these 3 lines removed. Okay? Oh, well, I'm just going to yank it. Well, look what it does. Control Y. Just yanks that one line.
where the period, between the period?
It just until the end of that sentence,
okay.
or wherever it was. So it's not, so everything that was below it gets moved up. You see what I'm saying? So if you do Z, it puts it back. Okay? Well, I need to remove this whole thing. So how would I do it?
Marking?
Mark it. You can mark it, and then just push delete, or you can do Control Y. I think it's, yeah, Control Y, and it does it. Oh, you know what?
No,
It only took off one.
Hmm?
It only took off the first line.
Last line.
It only took up the first line?
The last line.
I didn't see what it did.
Just yank it 3
It
times.
just took off after top to my door.
I'm sorry?
Nothing.
Say it again?
It just took off the last
It
one.
didn't take
Why
off
was
all
that so
3
hard to
lines.
say?
Because I said it once and
What? I didn't hear you. I was actually doing something on the computer. I wasn't trying to make fun of you, not that time. Usually I am, but not that time. It's kind of weird. So let me put it back in there. Let me install that lesson.
wow, you were being nice
I know.
for once.
And you messed it up.
Okay.
You're
See, you're already being
We'll see.
take long. I'll just be like Maria and stay quiet for the rest of the
I bet you $1,000 you cannot.
That happened.
You just blew it.
Yeah, you just blew it.
I didn't bet.
Yeah, I think it was right here.
Yeah.
Did it put it back in there?
Yeah,
Is that the
it's
way
there.
it looks?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way it looks.
Okay. So I needed to yank these 3 lines.
Yeah.
I marked it.
Oh, you have to have it in hyper keys. Oh,
Wow.
sorry.
Okay, so I have it marked. Okay. The easiest thing would be just to push delete. But I push Control Y,
And it's to the last line.
it just took out the last line.
You have to hit it 3 times, I guess. Uh-oh.
That's why I kind of tell you, be careful about doing too many functions, because now when you start doing the oops key, now it only goes back so far, okay? Which is not that big of a deal in this, because all you have to do is reinstall the lesson again, and you can do it. So, you know, I want to yank this line, Control Y yanks it, okay?
So instead
Push
of
Z, puts
marking
it back.
4 lines, if you want to get rid of 4 lines, just go to the beginning, Control Y, 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 and it'll.
You can.
Or
Just mark it and hit
Or just
delete.
mark it and hit delete.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's probably what I remember.
yeah. So any questions about that?
But the delete won't work through yank a line, like a blank line, or will it
Delete,
work as well?
if you put it on delete, it's probably going to delete one character, I think. So you
Unless
have
you
to
mark
mark
it.
it, then push delete.
Can we mark a blank line?
Yeah, you can, but I mean, it'd just be easier just to yank
Control
it.
Y.
Yeah. Any questions about that? Okay, form fields.
Let's see how Total Eclipse form fields make it easy to fill in the blanks for information that changes from transcript to transcript. There are several ways to begin
I'll get it.
filling in the blanks. You can click on a toolbar menu, or go to the production menu, or use speed key Control E, or hyper key E. In this blank, I'll type in a number, and pressing enter is okay. Blanks can be set to automatically adjust their size to accommodate your text, and to delete the entire line they're on if you leave the blank empty.
So these form fields are actually pretty cool, you know, because you're going to have, like, especially on your title pages, certificate pages, witness page, all of that stuff, examination page, your attorney page, appearance page, it's going to be different every time, okay? So you don't want to put the names in every time, you know, whatever, have to create these things. You can have these form fields already ready to go. So you just put it in there, ready to go. And these adjust lines are actually pretty neat, because you can adjust the lines to where it doesn't go off the page or it goes only so far.
So the line that was here was automatically deleted. Blanks can also be set to completely capitalize whatever text gets placed in them, and to look in a list file to give you choices. This blank knows how I filled in the witness's name in other spots in my transcript, and it's prompting me in case that information has changed.
So it's actually pretty cool. If you keep the fields the same, like for the witness every time you need to put the witness's name, if it's the same guy, it's going to remember. So it puts it in blue and it says, you know, was Fido Doe? Yeah, it was. Or no, it's not. But it gives you that option right there. And if it's not, don't freak out. All you have to do is start typing, and it starts putting in a different name. But if it's right and it's Fido Doe and you need to put it in again, you just push OK and it puts it in there.
I'll just press OK. And finally, form fields can make it quick and easy to insert client information. Within these short presentations, it's not possible to show all that form fields can do. So a separate in-depth ePower video tutorial is available on form fields and automatic indexing.
So how do you get in a form field? How do you enter a form field? Huh? E.
E.
Oh, yeah.
E.
So the lowercase, it searches for them? Is that what it's doing? Is it
Yeah.
showing the link? And then capitalize, capital E will, you add it or you change one?
It'll actually go in there anyway.
Oh, okay.
So you can be anywhere. Are y'all in this tutorial?
Yeah.
Make sure you're in hyperkeys and push E. So it takes you into the next form field.
Okay.
Okay? Now I told you about the multi, right? Yeah. Anyway.
No.
Huh?
Oh, the multi-scan, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, the multi-scan.
Yeah.
So what it's going to do is, like, once you fill in this thing and you push OK, now it's going to go to the next form field, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one. So if you have the multi on, then it's going to keep on going. Well, say you just need to fill that one in, and you're on page 3. Well, the next one is on page 203. Well, now you just went from 3, pushed enter, and you went down to 203, and you were still trying to edit your job. Well, now you're at page 203. So now you got to go to Alt-G, which is go to page, put in 3, go back, because you have the multi-scan on. Got it?
Yeah. Shift Control N.
Yeah, to turn it off, on and off. So it's Control Shift M, turns it on and turns it off. So we've done that. We've done the form fill. So you can actually get right here real quick, push E, and then fill in the date.
Like today's date?
Yeah. So you can do
Do we do numerals or October or?
you can do it however you want. I'm gonna do it like this: October 11th, 2018. So that's how I'm gonna do it. You can do it 10, 11, 18. You can do it OCT 11, 18, whatever. And then just push enter, puts it in there. See? So when you go to print it, you know, and it's like, oh man, I don't want that blue line. The blue line doesn't come out. Okay?
What about
Everybody
the
got
font?
that?
Is the font going to change, or is it going to be that old font there?
It may stay that way, I don't know.
I bet because it's like a template, I
Yeah.
bet it stays that way.
Yeah. So you'll have to change it in your template
Oh, so
to make
everything's
sure that
consistent.
when you create that, to make sure that it's consistent with everything, if you want it consistent.
Oh, that's really backwards.
Let's see how AutoMagic works with form fields and the fill-in-the-blanks process. The choices offered in relation to form fields are perfect examples of how AutoMagic helps both new and long-time users of Eclipse. So when your cursor is resting on a form field, the triple scan would fill just that one field. That would be speed key Control T or hyperkey T. In contrast, you might want to fill in all blanks. That would be hyperkey E or speed key Control E. Many longtime users of Eclipse may not have been aware of the distinction between the ability to fill in just one blank and the ability to go through the document.
So I guess that, that's one way of not being, not having to worry about the multi-scan too. So supposedly, I kind of learned this too. If you do Control T, it'll fill in just that one field. Control T instead of doing the E. So Control T.
Filling in all blanks. AutoMagic also makes it very easy to modify a field. So here, if I press 3, that would open the dialog where I can change the properties of this field.
So you can go in there and change the property. So if you want to change the font, oh, it's in here.
Next one.
It might be up here. It might be in here, to where you change the font, change, you know, all of that stuff. Or maybe, no, it's not browse. I think it's really up here. If you hit this little thing up here, click on it, it may open it up. Does it? Well, it's not going to do it if you're in the thing, but if you go into modify field, hang on, let me back it up just.
See how I scan to.
So if you're inside of your, let's see if it does it.
No, if you click on that, the only thing it does is bring up a box to move size. Well, I don't know, maybe size.
Customize. Go down to customize. Transparency and or no.
Yeah, zoom.
Hit shift E.
Customize
It's not under.
or not.
What is size? Field label. No, I just.
Change font at the bottom, center. bottom.
Oh, change font, duh.
Right there. That's what I said. Change font.
Thanks, Israel. It's always nice to know you're on top of things.
Why do you think I'm the lovely assistant?
And then it brings up this. So then you can change it to whatever you want. If you want it bigger, italic, bold, whatever, you can underline it, any of that stuff. Okay?
So it was shift E. That's not under this box.
What's the control shift?
Shift E. And then it brought up.
Oh yeah, that's the capital E, so you can modify.
Yes.
I will open the dialog where I can change the properties of this field. If I want to give it a different name or use a different variable so that the information I place in one field will be remembered in a similar field somewhere else. Maybe I want to use a different file that would offer a list of choices. Or if this field was on a billing page or a certificate page, perhaps I'd want to insert a formula that would calculate the number of pages in the document and perhaps the taxable cost. The choice to delete a form field is pretty self-explanatory. But what about job variables? If I press 5 here, it opens the dialog that stores the information that Eclipse is learning as I'm filling in the blanks. So if I perhaps made a mistake in spelling the witness's name, I could correct that spelling before it's used to fill in other blanks in the transcript. For more information, check out the other visualizers that are devoted to form fields and the fill-in-the-blanks process.
When they're talking about formulas, are we talking about formulas similar to that of Excel?
Similar to what?
Excel?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah. It's going to be formulas in here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I get this. So if I wanted to create one, I could shift E.
So there's a little your turn thing that you can do. Help yourself. Got it?
All right.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we're going to do one more. It'll be easy. Guys, this is pretty cool, and I think I've gone over this with you guys already a little bit. But the spell check, one, you should be doing it now. I don't care if you're in 40 or 240, you should be checking that document, okay? And little things that have cost some people some tests, like double words, could have been picked up had you done the spell check. And the spell check will tell you so many things, okay? So pay attention.
let's look at some of the proofreading tools that are built into Total Eclipse. You can start the spell check by clicking on an icon of a toolbar or selecting from the production menu. However, anytime you want to check the spelling of the word your cursor is on, just press Alt-S. And if you're wondering whether two words could be properly joined as one, just mark the words and then press Alt-S. Then check the status bar in the lower left corner of your Eclipse program window.
See how that's done? So if you don't, well, I mean, is outstanding supposed to be one word or two words? Well, it could be both, okay? But, and I think that they had that one example, she was outstanding in the field. She wasn't outstanding in the field, she was just out standing in the field. You see how it could totally change that sentence? Yes.
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 No. Mm. So that's how you can do it, by marking it and doing the Alt-S, okay?
When you're ready to spell check your entire document and not just individual words, you can get started by pressing Shift Alt-S. However, let's see how you can go to the Edit section of your user settings and fine-tune the spell checker's behavior. By default, Eclipse checks for several kinds of errors. It also loads the words of your job dictionary in the ignored words list, so it won't have to ask you about them. When you finish spell checking, Eclipse keeps track of them. Alt Eclipse checks for several. However, let's see how you can go to the Edit section of your user settings and fine-tune the spell checker's behavior. By default, Eclipse checks for several kinds.
So you should have these done. Because sometimes you'll put like a double Q, double A, double speaker when it's the same speaker. And you want it to check for these things. Okay? And if you don't have these things, double words. So all of these misspelled words, all of these should be checked. Okay? Have y'all, are y'all in y'all's user settings?
Yep.
So go into your user settings, which is what?
All you.
All you. Go into edit.
And then spell options.
Spell options. And it should bring this up. Does it have this?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it
Also
doesn't have
has-
number 7.
Check non-transcribed.
Where's 7?
It's on ours.
It's on ours.
Y'all have a number 7?
Mhm.
What is it?
Check non-transcribed text.
Yes. You want that check too. So just in case you went through there and it's like, I don't know what I was doing there. And I don't know if you just didn't fix it or whatever and you just left it like that and it's in, you know, steno. You want it to be able to check for that. So have that one checked too.
I have a question. There's one where, not there, the error categories, but on top where it says read along with spell check,
Yeah.
there's another little box
Display
saying
wrong
display errors with editing. You check that or not?
Display errors while editing. Oh, yeah.
Display errors. Nah, I wouldn't. Is it checked?
No.
Yeah, don't. Yeah.
Try not to see.
It'll be fine.
By default, Eclipse checks for several kinds of errors. It also loads the words of your job dictionary in the ignored words list, so it won't have to ask you about them. When you finish spell checking, Eclipse keeps track of the words that you've been ignoring. This is great if you're spell checking several documents in the same case. But if you're switching to a different case, you might want to purge the ignored words. You also have the option to read along with the spell checker. If you use this method, here's where you can control the speed of the cursor. Basically, you'll be reading along for context while you let the computer catch things like double words, Are too many spaces between words?
Oh my gosh.
Are words to ignore? Are double questions?
See what it does? I mean, it catches all of this stuff. And it's stuff, I'm not pointing anybody out, but it's stuff that you guys are doing. Double spaces, double questions, double answers, double words, all of this stuff. So I don't care if you're in 40, and that's only 200 words in a 40-minute test. It's 200 words. I got this. Yeah. Most of you don't, okay? But it's little stuff like that that, like right now, like I told you guys, I'm probably enabling you guys by not taking off for a lot of these things. It's going to cost you a test later. So start spell checking your stuff.
So
And
check that as well. Check the one that says read along with spell check.
I mean, you can. You can. Yeah, I would.
I would too.
Yeah, do it. Because you want to be able to read along. So what it's going to do is go down, and then once it finds something, it's going to, what do you want to do with this? So yes, you do want it checked.
Does it also do like grammatical things? Like if
Everything.
when you're reading along, it stops it? Because sometimes you put like in when it should have been on, you know.
Oh, no, it won't do that. No, I'm sorry, it won't. It won't do that. So if it doesn't make sense, it doesn't pick up that kind of stuff.
Okay.
It doesn't. So I mean, it's going to
misspelled.
look for misspelled words, double
Formatting.
questions, double speakers, double answers, stuff like that. Okay?
Of course, you do not have to read along with the spell checker, and if you're looking for an even faster method, you might consider list errors, which is the subject of a separate presentation.
Got it?
Let's see what list errors means. You'll find that option listed in the production menu, but you can also use the speed key, Shift Control E, as in errors. Eclipse will scan through your document and open a list of suspect items. Selecting any item will then show it to you in context. What makes this procedure a bit quicker is that although you can read the context, you don't have to. This is just a quick list of possible errors, so if you press the Ignore button, or change the spelling for one occurrence or all occurrences of an item on this list, you are then free to move on to other items. From here, you can add words to your personal spelling list, look for suggested spelling alternates, or look for a definition. You can even open the globaling dialog from this procedure, just as you can from the dialogues that are given to you through the spell check document procedure. So whether you want to do a meticulous read-through of your document, or correct just a quick list of possible errors, there are great proofreading tools built right into Total Errors.
I'll be honest with you. The next time I use that will be the first time I use that. It's really not that big of a deal. It's really not. You can do all of that stuff in spell check anyway. Okay? So I don't really see the huge advantage of doing it, but you can if you want to. So it's actually pretty cool. Like when you go to global something, you mark it, global it, with just what?
G.
G. And say you typed the word in, and it was
Krzyzewski.
Okay? That cat. Well, let's use something else. We're going to use a word like arthroscopic. Well, was it arthroscopic, orthoscopic? And they're talking about a surgery. So arthroscopic, like a surgery. So arthroscopic, which means, I think, under the skin. Is that what it
Joint.
means? Under the joint?
It's in the joint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or that. Or that. So it's like, well, I don't know what it is. Okay? I don't even know if I spelled it correct. Well, once you start typing it in the global little box, if you don't have it right, it's going to be underlined and it's going to tell you it's wrong. So there's in that little box of the globaling thing is a spelling thing in there too. So you can hit spelling and it's going to open up this whole box of spellings of what they think that you might be going to. So it's actually pretty cool. I don't know if there's a definition in there. They might have a definition.
Could Google it, right?
You can Google it,
Yeah, when you go
but
to-
not.
When you go to spelling, in it says definition. So
Yeah.
then it has all the options. and
Yeah.
On the left side it says definition.
But when I'm talking about when you global. So if you go in and do the spell check, you can. So if you do the alt S on that word, it gives you that option. What does it even mean? What is arthroscopic? Push definition, and it tells you exactly what it is. So it's pretty cool. It tells you if it's spelled correctly, past tenses of it, or stuff like that. So it's actually pretty cool.
How long has Eclipse been around?
Maybe 10, 12 years. What?
I'm wondering. It
Yeah.
seems like it's much easier now because of this than.
Oh my God, you have no idea. You have no idea. I mean, like when I first started, it's the same thing through Advantage software, but I was using a software called Cimarron Spirit. Holy cow! And that was like this. Now it was like, this is awesome. Looking back at it now, it's like, holy cow! I can't believe we were in the dark age back then. But, that's when my first computer was about the size of this box, the whole thing. The hard drive was about 1,200 pounds. It was awesome. Now you have a laptop that, that's
He's a
this
little
size
wagon
now.
to get everywhere.
It's crazy. So, yeah.
And that probably was about 11 to 12 years ago, because I was just starting Eclipse whenever I
Yeah.
left and
Mm-hmm.
stuff, so.
Correcto.
Let's see some of the ways that AutoMagic helps prevent spelling errors as we work. Word reversals are just one of the small problems that AutoMagic understands. This question should have been, is she still working there? Pressing 5 is a fast way to reverse these words. This should have been working, but I need a different suffix. Pressing 2 here would be a fast way to pick suffix ing. Here's another suffix problem. This should have been on the form. Yes. Pressing 3 makes that correction. And now AutoMagic sees that I may need a comma in front of yes. Pressing a comma would quickly insert the comma in the proper spot. Compound words are another problem. Sometimes it may be that two words.
This is the exact sentence that I was talking about. She was outstanding in the field. Maybe she was. Maybe she really was that good out in the field. I don't know. Maybe she was outstanding. But, is that it? No. It's that. So AutoMagic is always going to tell you, hey look, do you want this one? So it's always going to give you that option.
I like number 2.
Okay? Outstanding. Just saying.
Joined as one, or that one word needs to be split into 2. Pressing choice 1 here corrects this unintended compound. This should have been she was out standing in the field. A typing error.
But see how it's underlined in red? That's telling you it's wrong anyway. Exactly. So, you know, so you should look for these little things anyway. So if you have something in red, you might want to do a spell check on it, which is what?
This.
Shift all that.
Yeah.
President's in it.
What's that?
Third, and the faint underline in
Shift all
red
this.
is calling that to your attention as you type. The correction is also being offered on the AutoMagic list. Just press 9. AutoMagic also integrates type over tracking. My steno for technological, my steno for tool are very close to one another, so I tend to replace one of these words with the other. Eclipse tracks that type over, and AutoMagic offers it as a choice.
So you see what they're saying there? So like maybe you do that for technological. Maybe that's your brief for technological. But it's saying, you know what? It's only one letter off from tool. So it gives you that as an option. Okay?
If I press 7, that makes the correction. And here again, AutoMagic is watching for punctuation that might need to be inserted. One last correction. Let's assume that this is not misspelled, but the reporter didn't have an alphabet that included hyphens. Pressing 3 would stitch with hyphens. Pressing 4 would actually correct the spelling. If I just go back,
Be careful right here. And I think I've talked about this already. Okay? Like say you're taking the deposition of somebody and they said, where do you live? Oh, I live in Lafayette. Can you spell that for me, please? Lafayette.
Sick.
Is it spelled that way?
It's 2 T's.
It's 2 T's. It's 2 T's. Maybe this cat doesn't know how to spell
Especially if they live in Lafayette.
the town that he's from. Okay? It's not your job to clean him up either. So I would sick that. Okay? Which tells the reader this is wrong, but I'm telling you it's wrong, but I wrote it the way they said it. Okay? So your job is not to clean him up. Maybe he is from a little town called Lafayette with 1 T. I don't know. And what if you go in there and put 2 T's and it's like, I didn't spell it with 2 T's. It's spelled with 1 T, where I'm from. So your job is not to clean them up.
Would you
Okay?
put an SIC after it, or?
I would. You know, if you know that he's from Lafayette, Louisiana, that's not the way it's spelled. Now, if he's from Lafayette, Ireland,
That's fine, because they're still wrong.
You wouldn't be saying it that way.
yeah, you're saying Lafayette. Huh?
The signs are on sound, they're just not wrong.
I mean, I'd sick it, okay? But maybe he spelled it and it's Lafayette, and he was doing it so quick and it's Lafayette. Like, and you didn't tell him anything, slow down or whatever. Well, you only put 1 T. Don't freak out. Over here, it's going to have the option. Okay, it's probably going to be in your dictionary. Usually, most cities, towns are some. But it's going to ask you, was it 1 T, 2 T? If it's 1 T, leave it like that. But you see that it's underlined because it already knows that the real Lafayette, Louisiana has 2 T's. So all you have to do is come in there, push 4, which is going to tell you.
pressing 4 would actually correct the spelling. If I just go back, pressing 3 would now stitch this spelling. These are just some of the ways that AutoMagic takes advantage of the spelling checker and type over tracking features built into Eclipse.
So if it's going to be capped like that and you spelled it out, it's going to be all in caps, but it didn't stitch it or whatever, it's probably going to be up here. So all you have to do is pick the one, and if not, then how do you do it?
Do your little macro afterwards. Oh, just kidding.
You love that word, don't
I
you?
do. I like that
Mark
word.
it in hyphen.
Mark it in hyphen. Very good.
Just do it, right?
My little assistant is awake.
I'm a teacher's pet.
That's what I meant. Anywho, any questions?
No, no, no.
No?
Gets it out of here faster now.
Too late.
Tell me more.
Yeah. Okay, that's gonna be all for today. Guy, we covered a lot of stuff today. We really did. Again, go over that stuff. I can't emphasize this enough, guys. And the thing about it is the more you use it, the more it's gonna become second nature. If you don't, you're gonna have trouble editing. It's only helping you if you use this, right?
Right.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Right. Right.
Correct.
Okay?
Can I stop?
Any questions? No? Guys, I'm going to text you guys. I'll text you guys this weekend. I think we're gonna have class on Monday. So those of you that can make it, make it. If you can't, watch the video. I have something next Thursday again that I can't get out of, but I'm not gonna be missing class anymore. So we have one now, and then we have one November 15th that I can't get out of either. So we're gonna try to have the room on Monday. So I'm gonna find out tomorrow if 307 is available. Supposedly they use this room on Mondays. So if I can't get them to switch or whatever, then we're gonna be in 307. I know that you take a literary or jury charge on Monday. If you want to go to that class, fine. I'm going to try to get a hold of Mr. Hopkins and tell him kind of what's going on to where he still does the test, and you can take the test later or whatever. But if you want to go to the and take your test, help yourself and watch the video. Help yourself. I'd come here if it were me, but you do what you want. You can always take the test online. All right?
Yeah.
So I'll let you guys know what we're gonna do on Monday. Any questions?
No.
All right.